in lust. She was hoping they would make love before he whisked off like he normally did. She filled a glass with water and turned to him. She took a sip as she tried to feel him out. He was keeping his distance, which meant he was not there for sex. "Did Harlem say anything? They've been together for a while now. Surely he knows something," she said as she leaned against her sink, waiting for his answer. Tripp pushed off the doorway and began walking towards her, his eyes piercing hers. Essie stared back. He was difficult to read. It was hard to say whether he was being sexually motivated or something else. She let her gown loose, then stared at him intensely. Tripp's eyes dropped down briefly, then returned to her devilish gaze. Her breasts still sat nicely, undeniably her best feature, a result of years of sleeping in a brassiere. But his eyes were off. He seemed disinterested in the gift she hoped to bestow upon him. There was something else behind the windows to his soul. He looked different. The hollowness was gone, replaced with a man looking through her. "What happened, Essie?" he said as he continued towards her. He looked intensely in her eyes as he spoke to her, his words carrying with them a finality. Something in him gave a hint of what he was thinking. Essie hoped she was wrong. He had told her he loved her once. Pillow talk that was now blinding her to a rage she should have been able to sense more keenly. She gasped as Tripp rushed her and grabbed her by the throat. Her eyes bulged as the breaths were ceased. Tripp had her tight. Not even another single breath could get through her delicate windpipe. Her hands reached up. She touched his face gently. She had hoped to appeal to something possibly good in him. She hoped to silently plead to her lover and get him to remember they shared something once. And when he didn't get the message, she dug her nails into his cheeks. The room began to close in on Essie. She was aware that she would never again be of this life. She believed in reincarnation, but only that it would be a new life lived, completely unaware of this life now. She didn't want to go. It was this life that was her best, she was sure. She had come into her own late in life, and she had been in love. Powerful love. The kind that moved the earth and shook one to their core. But she wouldn't remember the loves of her life. She wouldn't remember the trials and misfortunes of this life. And she wouldn't remember this day, this death, and the look on the face of a lover who would be the vessel that would send her home. The thin, red, ragged lines popped in her eyes. The whites were now filled with blood, the sight of which made Tripp squeeze harder. His large hands were choking the life out of her with ease. A mixture of sweat and rain dripped onto her face. Essie's eyes began to close. Tripp's body shook as he continued to use all that was in him to end her. She had caused a lifetime of pain. Her jealousy over a gift she didn't possess was the start, and the loss of a lover was the catalyst. But she would exist no more. This was the last tie. Tripp loosened his grip as Essie's head and body relaxed, her arms released from his. Her head fell slightly to the right. It was over. No breaths came from her. Tripp's anxious breaths began to calm. He looked around, then stood up. He looked down at her. If only he could go back in time, when he was that young, impressionable boy that innocently went looking to make a buck. He couldn't go back, and even if he could, Birdie would still be with another. She never loved him, even before that fateful day that ensured she would hate him the rest of her life. The day something snapped in him. The day he destroyed a young girl's life and then paid for it with his own. He was surprised he was still alive. He had ventured into a world that took no prisoners, and Birdie